Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're watching us from. Tonight is going to be amazing. You're welcome to Leadership Talk with Adegoke. It's on Apple Podcast and Spotify. And for those who are joining for the first time, please just subscribe. Also, it's on our YouTube channel, Leadership with Adegoke. Leadership with Adegoke on YouTube. Tonight promises to be very powerful. I'm so humbled and privileged to be with a good friend of mine that I've known for almost about 5 decades. I'm not giving away my age, but it's a privilege, and I'm so excited. I have no doubt that tonight is going to inspire as many of us that are listening in and watching. And I want you to take notes and invite your friends and spread the word, because we're at a time when the world needs people to show up even more empowered. The pandemic has caused a disruption and dislocation for quite a number of families. And we're going to be speaking to the topic leadership, and real estate. So with me tonight is Akintoye Akinyosi. You're welcome, sir. You're
Thank you
welcome,
very
sir.
much. Thank you very much,
Yes,
Gopi, for having me. It's a rare privilege to be on your show. You're doing amazing things, and you're going
thank you.
places with your program. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So tell us, who is Akintoye Akinyosi?
Akitoye Akiosi is a chartered surveyor
Okay,
with about 30 over 30 years experience working within the real estate industry, both in Nigeria and in the UK. I'm a qualified chartered surveyor. I'm an examiner for the RICS. I coach people to become chartered surveyors. I
amazing.
train I train people. I have headed some of the top real estate companies in the United Kingdom. And currently, I run two businesses of mine, two real estate chartered surveying firms within the United Kingdom.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Wow. For those who are joining us, like I said, Toye and we've come a long way. We both attended the same primary school, the same,
Secondary school as well.
I believe, secondary school as well, the
Mhm.
same university, although I studied finance, he studied estate management. And we also both attended the same university in the UK and studied the same course, Masters in Property Valuation and Law. And we both also, he did his MBA in City University. I also did an MBA in University of Lagos. So we have, our degrees are, similar, and both our parents are professors, so we have our CVs are very similar. So it gives me great joy to share the platform with a good friend of mine and a brother. So Toye, just tell us, um, how did you get into leadership?
Um, Leadership. How did I get into leadership?
Yes.
Leadership started with vision. Started with having a
Okay.
vision. I remember back in the days when we were younger at the University of Lagos Estate Management Department. I'm sure some of my friends are listening in and can attest to this. We just
Yeah.
used to fool around back in the days, and my friend Muiwa Lumilua, Bole Kundayo, and we just used to play pranks in the class. And some of the things we used to do was to write on the wall, and I'll write my name, Akitoye Akiosi, BSc, MA, MBA, MRICS, FRICS. I will put all those things because we had a vision of where we were going to. And in terms of getting into leadership, I studied in Nigeria, worked for a short time with Adegbemile Aganga Kilosoto and Co., which is called Fox and Company, managed a lot of properties in Lagos, came to the United Kingdom, worked in quite a number of areas, starting from regeneration. I worked in Hackney Council, where I managed their property portfolio. I sold and disposed of most of their assets when they were going into when they had problems, and were able to generate 17.5 million in less than a year. And in those days, that was a record.
Amazing.
Having said that, I moved into the private sector. I worked with a number of companies. I headed the residential team at Aston Rosebin, Chartered Surveyors being the only Black director there, and also at Fifield Glen before setting up my company called Template Estates, doing consultancy work, and is a firm of Chartered Surveyors. I also manage and run another company called Sparkle Estates and Facilities Management Limited. So I have a number of projects that I work on. I manage some multi-million pound projects, and I provide some consultancy services to clients all over. So management and leadership has evolved over the years.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Well done, Toye. Well done, Toye. I salute your depth, your knowledge. You're showing up at a time when the world needs answers. Quite a number of people are looking, at how to position their funds, and there are massive opportunities all over the world. The interest rates have gone down in the US and also in the UK. And there's no better time, you were talking about other people's money, how to position funds and make sure that you get a good return on investment. No doubt, no doubt. If you're just joining us, I've been speaking with my friend on Leadership Talk with Adegoke. He's on Apple Podcasts, he's on Spotify. And on today's session, this is the 35th session of Leadership Talk with Adegoke. And tonight we're looking at leadership and real estate. Leadership and real estate. Now, Toye, what's the relationship between leadership and real estate?
Well, leadership and real estate have always had a very long relationship that has been running for thousands of years. You may not really appreciate it, but look, when you talk about leadership, if you look at the good book, which is the Bible, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, for example, it says, "And God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon it." The words fruitful, multiply, replenish, dominion are all traits that a leader must have.
Wow.
Brethren, I want you guys to know one thing today. Real estate has always been in the forefront of mankind.
Wow.
If you look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, the Bible puts it this way. It says, "And the Lord took man, and put him in the garden to do what? To dress and to keep it." Ladies and gentlemen, dressing and keeping it is all talking about asset management. It's talking about real estate.
Amazing.
World, if you must have the leadership skills to succeed. And in order for you to succeed in real estate, there are about 5 or 6 key points that I want you to take a pen or biro, take a piece of paper, if you've not got one, to write down right now.
I have my own pen and my biro as well, my paper, yeah.
Because these are things they don't teach you in Harvard. These are skills that you have to pick up as you go along. Number one, for you to be a good leader in real estate, you must have excellent communication skills.
Wow.
The ability for you to talk and write in an articulate manner.
Okay.
Number two, you must have the ability to delegate.
Wow.
effectively. Delegate effectively.
Okay.
Number three, you must have an in-depth knowledge of the market that
Hmm.
you are working in. In-depth
Wow.
knowledge of the market.
Hmm.
In-depth knowledge of the market. Number four, you must be able to adapt to market changes. Like this session that we are in this coronavirus age, you must be flexible enough to
Hmm.
adapt to the changes in the environment that you are working in whilst encouraging growth. Number five, I think I'm just going to give you five. I'll keep the rest for myself. If you're interested, you can.
You're monetizing it. You're monetizing your knowledge.
No, 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 no. I just want people to call you on your platform and say, that guy, we need to ask him some questions. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Multitasking. You must be able to be a good multitasker because real estate is about juggling balls and being able to have the right thing. You must be a problem solver and you must be highly organized. A problem solver and highly organized, and you must be able to limit risk. I think I've given you about eight.
Wow.
Finally, let me give you the last one. You must be a people's person. You
Wow.
must be a people's person if you're in real estate. You must
Wow.
be able to get along and
I think your
maneuver
network is a
the
bit.
way through the different cadre of people and clients that you have, from the high standing to the low standing to the medium standing to your contractors. You must have a good rapport with them, and you must be a good influencer. I think those are the key things that.
Okay. Let me just jump in. Let me jump in. Let me jump in. Now, for those who are just joining us, I mean, tonight promises to be awesome. I mean, we're not just. I mean, I was telling Toye, I'm also a real estate practitioner, although that's not what I do on a daily basis. You know, I manage for clients. But Toye has, I mean, is well entrenched in the industry, is a practitioner, and is also, you know, in terms of the RICS, Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, is also is an examiner, I believe.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So he's speaking with so much depth and authority. Now, Toye, what's going on right now? How can one begin to seize the moment, opportunities in real estate? What are the opportunities out there for even for our listeners all over the world? They're listening all over the world. What are the opportunities available?
Well, there are so many opportunities available, and there's not a better time for you to
Hmm.
invest than right now.
Wow.
Not a better time for you to invest than right now. Number one, interest rates have fallen to an all-time low,
Hmm.
both in the United States and in in the UK. Number two, there are massive opportunities out there.
Wow.
There are massive opportunities out there. And I'm just going to give you a few bits and pieces here. A recent survey carried out by a company called GHD revealed that over 40% of people in the UK are considering moving to different locations entirely as a result of COVID-19.
Wow.
Now, what does that mean? It means that a lot of people are thinking of moving. Now, the rate of property transactions in the last 1 year has doubled.
Wow.
According to recent research figures, it has doubled. And that gives you an opportunity for you to maximize and invest right now. There's not a better time.
Hmm.
I'll give you an example. One of my former offices, I'm not going to give the name,
Okay.
they moved out from the city center, from the luxurious city center, probably in Piccadilly Circus or thereabouts in London, which is a prime location, and moved into a smaller serviced office based on the fact that 90% of their staff wanted to preferred working from home than coming
Wow.
into the office. Now, in terms of savings, they have made a savings of almost £1 million a year.
Wow. Amazing.
£1 million a year on just rent. So
Hmm.
consider that. And that's on the commercial side. On the
Okay.
residential side, of things. The market is booming
Wow.
right now. The government has injected so much incentives
Hmm.
right now. It is almost impossible for you, if you're an investor, not to want to invest right now. For
Wow.
example, there's a stamp duty freeze for
Hmm.
properties which are less than £500,000.
Wow.
Interest rates are barely minimal
Hmm.
right now. So you don't have an excuse.
Hmm.
You don't have an excuse not to invest.
Hmm.
And the problem that we have, especially where we come from, is fear and the
Hmm.
lack of having trustworthy people who know what they are doing and who can help to draw their hands. I have a friend of mine, Mayowa
Hmm.
Oluyede, and we are working together. We
Awesome.
want to create millionaires, 10 millionaires at least every year,
Wow.
and to draw people and to show them how to invest,
Hmm.
where to go,
Hmm.
and to liberate our people.
Hmm.
You know, the Bible says wisdom is the principal thing. Get wisdom, get understanding. We
That's
need to
right.
understand how money works
Hmm.
in this economy that we're in. Either
Hmm.
you're in the US or you're in the UK. We
Hmm.
were we were taught to go to work, get a job, get a mortgage and whatever. No, 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 no. There are many opportunities now which are
Hmm.
available in the marketplace. There
Wow.
are many opportunities which I'm going to be sharing with you. But,
Hmm.
many of us right now are not taking opportunities that are occurring, emerging opportunities in the market.
Wow. Wow.
Many
Wow.
of us, we just have one mindset. And today I
Wow.
want to blow your mind. I want
Hmm.
to blow your mind because you getting a mortgage is not just it.
Hmm.
No, there are certain things I'm going to teach you that they don't teach them in Harvard. You are not going to find it in any textbook. It
Thank you
comes from
so much. Thank you
experience.
so much. Thank you
For
so much.
example, rather than you buying a house and getting a mortgage, why don't you go and buy land and
Wow.
develop it?
Wow.
Why don't you get together with your friends? We can help you. We'll source out all the things. We'll get you the mortgage in principle. You buy
Hmm.
the land, you build, and you make a killing.
Wow.
It's about time that we start to leverage up ourselves. You look at the Indian community. Look at the way the way they are leveraging their skills. Look
Hmm.
at the Jewish community. The money stays inside that community. But
Hmm.
we as Africans need to stand up to look
Hmm.
at what opportunities are out there. So there's
Wow.
somebody here. Now I'm speaking to somebody who is watching me today, who is saying I'm on ground zero and I don't know what or where or how I can get onto the property ladder. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter where you have been. It doesn't matter if you've had CCJs. The first thing I will tell you is that it is possible.
Wow.
Don't be afraid.
Awesome.
Don't be afraid because there are opportunities. You see, information is power.
Hmm.
Information is power. And
Hmm.
you need to know what these emerging opportunities are.
Hmm.
Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to check yourself and you want to check my credit rating.
Hmm.
Even if your credit rating is bad, even if
Hmm.
they've written you off, you can work together to build it up over a 2-year period, 3-year period, 4-year period, 5-year period, and
Amazing.
then you are wholly prepared to launch out. Now, there are many opportunities. Let me talk about the UK because that's my forte. That's where I'm working
Please,
right
please
now.
go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you know, for example, you can go to places like Liverpool, Manchester, and get a two-bedroom house for between 40,000 to 60,000 pounds.
Wow.
Yes? And you don't need to have 40 or 60,000 pounds. Right now, on the buy to let, most lenders will give you, once you drop 25% of that money. So if you have a calculator and you calculate 25% of 40,000, yeah,
10,000 pounds.
all you need is 10,000.
4,000 pounds. 4,000.
4,000 pounds to get onto the property ladder. Okay, you pay fees, you pay solicitors fees, you pay surveyors fees, you pay what do you call it. You can, if you don't even have that money, come together with about 2 or 3 like-minded people.
Wow.
Get onto the property market. Get onto the property ladder. That in itself will transform you. If you live in a house, for example, and you're saying, I want to move to a bigger house, you don't have to sell your house. The government has a scheme. There's a scheme called a let to buy.
Wow. Not even buy to let. Let to buy.
A let to buy.
Wow.
So basically, we are saying, instead of you selling your house and losing the asset, you are saying, I want to buy a new house, and at the same time, I want to let this one that I'm staying in.
Wow.
And all you need is 25%. There's if you're a key worker, and for example, you're a teacher, you're a doctor, you work in healthcare or whatever, and you don't have enough money, there are opportunities which are available for you. The government has schemes. There's something called shared ownership. It's called staircasing.
Wow, staircasing. Wow.
Yes, by staircasing.
You mean like going up the stairs?
Yes, it's like going up the stairs. So today I say, well, I don't have money. I'll put 40% down. I want to buy 40% of this house that I'm living in at the moment. The government will provide the 60%, or the housing association will provide the 60%, and you'll be renting. Yeah. Then, if in 2 years' time you say, well, I want to purchase another 20%, yeah, then you can go on and on and on and on and on until you get to that 100% and you buy them outright. But it will be at the market value at the day, on the day.
Wow.
The government has given stamp holiday duties. Do you know the amount of completions that have happened between now and March? And it's been extended to June.
Wow.
It's been extended to June.
You mean since March?
Yes.
March and this time?
Year, property transactions in the UK have doubled.
Wow.
Because people are looking at investment opportunities.
In safe environments.
So there are certain things which I'm going to show you in terms of strategies later that you can actually adopt, which you are not going to find in any textbook, which you are not going to find in any other place, but
amazing.
on this platform.
Today. Wow, amazing. So honestly, I can say that I'm so proud of you. I'm not just your friend, I'm your brother. And even after this session, I trust that I'm going to be speaking to you privately, because you are even challenging me. Because see, the truth of the matter is that, like you said, money is out there to be made.
Yes.
And a lot of Africans are always, a bit intimidated when they hear these figures. But there are possibilities. I mean, just like the one that you mentioned in Liverpool, 40,000 pounds, you put a down payment of, let's say 25%, and you're on the path to, owning your own property. And you don't have to start with something big, It's also about shifting mindset. If you're just joining us, I've been speaking with my brother, my friend, on Leadership Talk with Adegoke. This is the 35th edition, Leadership and Real Estate tonight. We have, an expert, a veteran, someone who has had about 30 years experience, is an examiner, is also someone who is a practitioner, someone that is not just the average estate agent, but is coming with a lot of expertise. So Toye, I want you to speak directly to the people listening, because people are listening all over the world to this session. And it's also going to be on podcast, my leadership podcast, Leadership Talk with Adegoke on Spotify and Apple. I want you to speak, practically now, apart from, how can someone who has not really, been in this market industry, how can one pivot? Just give us 3 ways that we can pivot and come into the property industry. Yes.
Well, what I always tell people is that you need to do your research properly.
Okay. Okay.
And I'll endeavor that you please get your notes out because
Okay.
it's very, very important
I
when
have my paper and my pen. Yes.
I'm not a, I'm not a teacher, but I'm a son of a teacher or a professor. So
But you're also a teacher. You are teaching us tonight. Yeah.
I try as much as possible to I try as much as possible to give my all because I want to die empty, like Miles Monroe said. I want to give to my people. I want to give people out there. So there might be somebody who is listening to me to me out there today, and I'm talking directly to you
Okay.
out there today. It's never too late. There are certain strategies that you have to learn to adopt. Now, a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, who is a brother of mine, Mayo Oluyede, we've had a lot of dealings together in the past. He's like my brother, and we have this thing called a CALAD model, CALAD, as in if you put salad and remove the S and put the C in front of it, it makes sense. CALAD,
Okay. Okay.
CALAD model. Now, before you invest, you have to count the cost of it. Now, the
Okay.
first thing you want to look out for is a property or an asset that guarantees cash flow. So the C in the CALAD starts for cash flow. You need an income stream. Yeah, you need an
Okay.
income stream over um, a long period of time that guarantees you income
Okay.
over a long period of time.
Hmm.
The next A says you need to add value.
Okay.
Never buy a property that you can never add value to.
Hmm.
What do I mean by adding value? You want a property that you can extend.
Okay.
You can have a loft conversion. You can change the garage into a room or build above the garage or go into the basement like they are doing in central London now.
Okay.
About a year and a half, 2 years ago, most uh, big, massive Victorian massive houses in the posh areas, they are going underneath where they are having gyms and swimming pools and saunas and whatever. They are going under now. So there, you need to add value when
Okay.
you're buying. Always buy. Everything is about location, 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 but you must be adding value.
Okay.
The L stands for leverage. And that's where I said OPM, other people's money. We were raised in Africa not to owe money.
Hmm.
I remember many years ago, I was so silly back in the days when I was working in Hackney. I must have been in my 20s or something, and they were offering me a mortgage. Barclays Bank called me and they were offering me a mortgage for, I think, £70,000 then. And these are those tall, those houses in Hackney, the 3-story ones that
Yeah.
has a basement, that has long gardens. I said, no, okay, you see, some was not going to debt. Oh, I don't want debt. That was the mentality that we had, that we brought from Africa. I wish I had known better then. I would have been a multi-billionaire then by now.
Wow.
But what am I saying? You use other people's money to leverage. If you don't have the money, get people together. Right now, people are doing projects by crowdfunding. People are doing projects by having investors coming in. Yeah. And what we are saying is, you don't have to do the work. You just come to us. We'll do the
Hmm.
work for you.
Wow.
We'll do the work for you. We will hold your hands and make you a multimillionaire
Wow.
in the
Wow.
correct way. Now,
Wow.
if you don't have that, you can leverage through joint venture. You can structure the lease. There are different opportunities in which you leverage your position to make sure that you have the asset and you have the
Wow.
funding to take you to a better place.
Wow.
Now, the next A stands for appreciation. Appreciation. What do I mean by appreciation? We are investing in real estate or property for two reasons. One, we're investing for capital appreciation. What do I mean by capital appreciation? You buy a property today for, say, £300,000, £400,000. In 6 months or in a year, for example, the property industry has gone up. You are probably looking at about 350 to 400. So the growth in the capital value of a property that you bought, paying 300,000. I mean, you gave me an example earlier on when we were speaking of some of the properties that you've dealt with in your portfolio, and the prices are astronomical.
Yeah.
Now, the second point that we are looking out for is we are looking out for rental growth. Rental growth.
So capital appreciation and rental growth.
And rental growth.
Yeah.
By rental growth, I'm saying the amount of income stream that you can get over time.
Okay.
Yeah? Over time. So those are the two key factors that you look at. And finally, this is not in any textbook.
Wow.
Discounts. Many people think that when they invest in real estate, they make their profits when they sell. Totally wrong. That is old school.
Wow.
You make profits when you buy.
Wow. Amazing. You make profits when you buy, not when you sell.
Not when you sell.
Wow.
These are some of the principles that you're not going to find in any textbook.
Wow. You're releasing powerful nuggets tonight, Toye. Are you going to tell them the secret? Or
I'm going to tell you a secret now.
Wow.
Never, ever, ever buy property at market rent.
Wow.
Never. At least you must have a 10 to 15% reduction. So that
now, I just want to jump in. I just want to jump in. You said never ever buy property at market rent.
Yes.
So how do you get to buy property at discount? Yes.
So I'm going to teach you how to buy property at discounted rates. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let me give you one or two examples. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, everything is about location, 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 location. Number one, you always buy a property on a good road, close to a station, close to transport facilities, or close to a school or hospital, because that attracts people close to you. Now, you can buy a rundown property that becomes a project for you. Now, when you buy a rundown property, you negotiate hard. The problem with a lot of us is we don't want to pay money for surveyors or professionals to help you. Meanwhile, you make a greater loss by doing it yourself.
Wow.
It's always better to get a professional to get the best deal for you. So, for example, buy a rundown property on a good road. That's number one. Number two, there are distressed properties. Yeah? Properties where, for example, are going for auction is another example. They may go below the market value, but never buy a property at auction if you've not received advice from a chartered surveyor and a reputable builder.
Okay.
It's very, very important that you get advice, and that the advice that you get is a builder and a reputable builder as well. The advice that you get is paramount to whether or not you're going to make success. Another way in which you can earn money at or have property at a discounted rate is you go to new build properties.
New builds.
Yes, new build properties. Now, I'm going to teach you a trick that is not in any textbook. Now, the first thing you do is wait till the financial year of that new build company is coming to an end. Okay?
Okay.
Now, what happens is this. Because most of those developers are in a hurry to close their books, Yeah, they will offer you discounts because they want to quickly sell, so that that asset or that, because remember they are borrowing money,
Hmm.
they would rather sell something to you quickly and make a reduced profit than for them to lose that money and turn it into the next year.
Okay.
So they would give you a discount. Finally, I would say
Hmm.
that if you want to know, I'll give you a master class if you come to me.
I know you're not going to let all the
You
cats
give
out of
me
the
a
bag.
master class. You give me a master class. I'll give you a master class if anyone is interested. I actually train
And they
people.
pay for that. Well,
Yes,
I mean, I knew that that was going to be the because there
well,
are quite a number of people. You see, it's always good. Free is not really free. I mean, we're showing up tonight, touching many lives. But what is most important is that you're listening to the experts. Like I said, Toye is, a fellow of the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. He has an MBA. He's worked for about 30 years in the real estate industry. He's also an examiner with the FRSCS. He's speaking with authority. And but I want to let you also know that what you're getting here, if you want to take it a notch further, I tell you, if they want to get in touch with you, how can our listeners reach out to you? Because this is
uh,
this is this
they
is
can
awesome.
reach me. They can reach me by email at
Okay,
aaklc@gmail.com. That's
okay,
AAKINOSI at gmail.com. Or you
okay.
can call me on my mobile phone.
No, I don't want you. Don't drop your mobile phone here
No,
because
no, no, no.
it's very that's it.
Yeah.
I think let's
They
leave
can
it to your
contact you and you give them my details. Yeah.
yeah. If you want to, you can send us a DM. But the most important thing I also want us to get out of here, because in terms of a lot of people here sessions on real estate, they can do this, and some people are very cautious. They don't want to get into the wrong hands. I want you to do a background check on Akintoye Akinyosi. You can Google his name. It's not somebody that has anything to hide. I mean, his name is all over the social media. But I want you to, how do you address this area of people, scams, because there are a lot of scams all over the place. I want you to speak to that.
Okay. Well, the issue has to do with integrity.
Okay.
In real estate, you stand and fall on your integrity. Now, I tell people it's not about the money. Money is important, but it's about relationships. Now, there's a time in which people go out to make money. There's a time people go out to build a brand. But at this stage of our lives, we are building legacy. We are
Mm,
building the future. There are things which are coming on board
mm,
right now, for example, which are in the pipeline, which by the special grace of God is going to turn the real estate industry in Nigeria on its head. And we're going to revolutionize the way in which real estate is being done. I'm just
mm,
giving you that as an example. There
mm,
are things, there are processes which are coming forth in the next few years by the grace of God that will transform the way in which business is being done. Now, always use a professional when you're doing work. And I'll give you an example. Um, you must have integrity. Many years ago, many years ago, I was working in Lagos, and I used to work in a company called Fox and Company, Adegbemile Agaga Kilosutu and Co. And I was managing one of the properties down in Onika or Boyle Street, somewhere like that. And there were these two foreigners who were arguing over a property. And there was a waiting list. And I said, look, there's a waiting list. Hold on. In about 3 months or 6 months, I'll see what I can do. And you get on board. No, the guy said, no, I'm not going to agree. You must give me this property now and name me your price. And I said, I'm sorry, I cannot be bribed, you know? And He said, "You're very silly. Do you know who I am?" I said, "I don't care who you are. I don't take bribe." And he went ahead, called my boss, told me I was going to get fired. My boss called me, and I'll never forget this that Mr. Adegbemile did. He said, "Toye, what happened?" I explained to him, this man had a problem. This is what happened. And I told him, and he said he was going to fire me. And I said, he should do his worst. And I said, and he said, and my boss pointed to the man, "Is that correct? Is that true?" He said, "Yes, these young men don't understand what business is all about." And my boss said, "Toye," I said, "Sir, walk him out of my office." If you see
Wow.
that empowerment, the empowerment he gave me, and you see, your integrity, once it is, once your integrity is questioned,
Hmm.
you have lost value.
Wow.
So a lot of people, I would say, use professionals. Now, let me give you a food for thought. Anywhere I go, I'm the only black director. I can count with my fingers the amount of black directors that we have who are chartered surveyors, and I'm a
Wow.
fellow. They are less than 0.1%, not 1%, 0.1,
You mean
0.1
you
that
mean
are
you mean
black
it
and ethnic minorities.
you
And
mean
when
in
I talk
London?
about black and ethnic minorities, I'm talking about Asians, I'm talking of
Wow.
Chinese, I'm talking of Irish people. 0.1 who are who are black and ethnic minorities. So anywhere I go, I'm the only black person there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well
And
done. Well done.
what we are saying, and that's one of the reasons why I am passionate to train people to become chartered surveyors. That's
Wow.
the real reason why I've taken it on board. For the last 15 years, I've been training people, and I have a 100% record.
Wow.
None of my candidates have ever failed. I have a 100% record to date, to the glory of God. So
Wow.
integrity is very key
Wow.
when you're dealing with people. It's not
Hmm.
about the money. If you
Hmm.
make £1 million today and you spend it up in 2, 3 years, it doesn't mean anything. But when you have repeat business, when people can say and attest to you and say, "This guy is the one." When I introduce people, I'll just say, "Tell him you're from Toye, he'll take good care of you." And that's it.
Wow.
Because they
Wow.
know that my word is my bond.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've been speaking with Toye Akinyosi, leadership and real estate, leadership talk with Adigoke. It's
Mhm.
always every Sunday at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. every Sunday. Amazing, amazing nuggets tonight. Leadership talk with Adigoke is also on Spotify and Apple Podcast, all over the world. People are listening. And for those who are just joining us, we can still watch the replay on this platform. And I just want to drop in, for me, really, I believe that this is the time to show up and add value all over the world. Toye is adding value. I'm also, apart from what I do in leadership, I'm also a certified customer service trainer. My book, Customer Retention and Experiential Approach, is on Amazon. Also, my courses are on Udemy, professional selling skills. I believe that it's a time to add value. Whatever we're doing, it's a time to show up. Toye, you've added so much depth tonight. Now, I want you to just jump in and talk to this. What are the consequences of not investing in real estate?
Wow. Well. The consequences of not investing in real estate are really dire. There are things that can actually lead to a lot of problems. And I'm going to tell you a few of them, if you want to write this down.
Okay.
Number one
Yeah.
is inflation will always catch up with your income. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in as much as you're a salary earner, in as much as you are doing a 9 to 5, inflation would always catch up with your income.
Wow.
That's number one. Number two, when you don't reinvest in real estate, you have missed investment opportunities that would have given you a higher rate of return over and above inflation or your rate of savings.
Wow.
So, for example, real estate, it has been found, has consistently performed better. Yeah, it has consistently performed better than other forms of investment over a long period of time. Number three, you lose having tangible assets. Assets that you can show that, yes, this is where I'm coming from. Number four, am I going too fast? Tangible assets is what I said last.
No, can you repeat that number 4?
I'm about to go into number four now. You
Okay.
miss a regular income stream. Regular income stream, cash flow. Cash flow is king. Yeah, cash flow is king. And I'm going to challenge people here tonight. You must have passive income. You must have multiple income streams. Whatever
Wow.
you are doing, you must have a side hustle, which is legal.
Wow.
You must have a side hustle, which is legal. The fifth point is of not investing in real estate is a missed opportunity. Yeah, to leave a long-term legacy or inheritance for generations to come. And finally, on that same point, is when you fail to invest in real estate, you
Yeah.
have a lower income in retirement.
Wow.
Income in retirement. As we know, pension schemes don't work anywhere anymore.
Wow.
And I'll give you an example. My dad has been
This is,
retired.
I need to take a deep breath. Honestly, I need to take a deep breath. Now, you said the consequence, number 1, of not investing in real estate is inflation catches up with your income.
Yes.
Number 2, there are missed opportunities. Number 3, real estate performs over other assets. So
Yeah.
even more than the stock market, you're saying that real estate, okay. Number 5, you're saying inheritance and legacy for years to come.
Yes.
Number 6,
I said
retirement.
lower income, retirement income.
Lower income. There's lower income in retirement.
Yes.
You are not able to invest in real estate.
Yes, because you need that passive income. And I'll give you an example. For example, my dad is a professor.
Yeah.
And he's retired 40 years now. 40 years. Now, if he did not invest in real estate, for example,
can you take that again? Can you take that again, please, sir?
Okay, I said my dad has been retired for 40 years.
And he's 45 now. Sorry, you retired at the age of 45. He's 85.
No. My dad is much older. He's 89 now.
Oh, yeah. 89. Okay, good. Okay.
So if he did not retire, if he did not have investment in real estate, how would he be coping in today's inflationary rate in Nigeria, which I think is about 26% or thereabouts, the interest rate in Nigeria?
No, it's more than that. It's more than that. Yeah.
How much is it now? It's very high out of
the rate of inflation is almost 30%, you know.
Wow. So you see, the math doesn't add up if you don't have a passive income, if you don't invest in real estate. And real estate will over time outperform.
I know the rate of inflation at the last count, I said is about 18 point something percent, almost 20%. But when you look at it in real time, the cost of food, electricity, so it's almost about 30%, you know. So,
wow. So you see, this is what I'm talking about. There's an urgent need, and there's somebody out there today who seems stuck. There's somebody who is living in a council flat today and who is saying, oh, I don't have the money. Oh, I don't think I can do it. Oh, where do I start from? And I'm speaking to that person today. It's never too late.
Wow.
Now, if you live in a council flat, for example, there are opportunities and strategies that you can adopt. Like I told you
Wow.
about staircasing and stuff like that. That's for housing association. But there are other strategies that you can DM us, and we will then talk you through. And we are
Wow.
willing to hold your hand, because at the end of the day, it is how, when you leave this earth, what legacy do you
Wow.
what
Wow.
legacy do you have? Because
Wow.
you see, when we talk about the Ford Foundation, when we talk about, is it Rothschild? Rothschild? I've
Rothschild.
forgotten
Yeah.
how it's Rothschild.
Rothschild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rothschild. When you talk about those foundations, most of those foundations were built on real estate. And it's
Yeah.
their real estate investment that they are using to make those charitable works today.
Even Bill Gates. Yeah. I mean,
Even
so
Bill
yeah.
Gates, a lot
Yeah.
of them are using real estate as a leverage to
Hmm.
touch people's lives.
Wow.
And
Wow.
there's no better opportunity than for you to start now.
Wow.
Now is
Wow.
the time for you to start.
Wow.
Don't cut
Massive.
corners. Don't say I
Massive.
can do it by myself. Get the professionals and people who
Wow.
are trustworthy, who can help you, who can pull your hands, who can motivate you, who can teach you, who can leverage on their experience. And we have a few good men and women who can hold your hands and take you to the next level. I'm sure
Wow.
one or two people have questions, okay? I'm sure one
Yeah.
or two people have
Yeah,
want to
we're
share.
going to open the floor now for questions because we want to get. But most importantly, if you
Yes.
want to get across to Toye, you can send a DM. Send us a direct message on this Facebook platform, and we'll get in touch because it's not something that you need to wait. Toye has shared with us that there's so many opportunities out there, and more so because the interest rates have gone down. 3%, is almost next to nothing. You
Mm.
know, even in the US, what's happening now, the rates are is 2%. So
Yeah.
people are moving from the back end and coming into the front end, and they're now players. So
Mm.
for those who have questions, please feel free to drop into in the comment section. Now I want to ask you, one question. Now,
Yes.
this pandemic, what has happened is that some people have lost their jobs.
Yes.
They've lost their means of livelihood. Some
Mhm.
people are pivoting from careers and moving. Now you talked about cash flow. How do you know, position yourself? If your income, if your income has, for example, maybe you've lost 30% of your ability to earn. How can you still position yourself?
Okay. That's a brilliant question. Thank you for that. Okay. Now, the most important thing for you to do is the most important thing for you to do is to have a strategy.
Okay.
Is to have a strategy. For example, I have a colleague of mine who's a friend of mine who has a townhouse. Yeah. And
Can you take that
it's
again?
I have a colleague of mine, a friend of mine who has a townhouse. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a 3-story building, and it's
Okay.
an end of terrace townhouse with a large garden. What did my friend do? My friend released the latent value. And what do I mean by latent value? What my friend did was to apply for planning permission, built a single story side extension, yeah, and made money from that and let it out as a single HMO or flat. Yeah. That's just giving you an example because those are some of the strategies. But in terms of when you have a reduction in income, then you are looking at what can I do to boost my income stream. Yeah. Now, if you've lost money, for example, your income, there's nothing stopping you, in as much as you're still earning, from going to places like Liverpool, Manchester after you've done your homework. Yeah. Drop 25% of the value of the property, do it up, release it, have a passive income. You'll probably be paying a mortgage of about 350, 400, and you're making about 500, 600 pounds. So you're already making a profit. You're already making a profit in that regard. There are other things that you can do, for example. You can come together with friends or family and invest jointly together. And as a result of investing together, you're able to leverage all your skills together and build your profile. And when you invest as a group with trusted people, you guys can later release the latent value or the profits that you've made and reinvest in another property 2 years down the line, 6 months down the line. And those are some of the strategies that you need to adopt in order to sort of break even. I can't seem to find Goke here, but those are some of the things that I think that we can do. Can anybody see me? I think Goke.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, yes, I'm back on now. Yeah, you're back on
Yeah,
now.
I'm so sorry. My internet went off.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay.
Yes. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
Basically, what I was just giving was a few strategies. The
Okay.
first one I spoke about was basically you coming together with friends or family. If you don't have enough income, buy a property, say, for example, in Liverpool or in Nottingham, look at the yields. There are different property magazines, even on the internet, that shows you the
Yeah.
areas where people are buying. We know those areas. We know what is good for you. We can advise you accordingly and get you the right mortgage so that you can, because every lender has their own criteria. Okay.
Wow.
Every lender in the UK, for example, has their own criteria. So we have to fit your circumstance to the correct lender. Okay.
Okay. Now, so someone just asked a question. Is it okay to invest in real estate in Nigeria?
Oh, yes. But however, you need to do your homework. You need to do your homework properly. If you are not there to see things, I mean, my experience has been everybody's ready to scam you. I would rather pay a professional like myself to go out there, do the work, make sure that you're getting the right expertise, and you know that somebody is going to give you the right documentation, that you're not going to have worries about omonile, you're not going to have problems about whether it's fake or it's been resold or you've been gazumped or people have run away with your money, because you do due diligence checks before you even release the money. Now, real estate in Nigeria can be volatile. Real estate in Nigeria can also be very profitable. There's no place more profitable than in Nigeria. When you are doing real estate, you can make a killing and at the same time you can make a heavy loss. So it's about the mindset. It's about knowing what is right for you. It is about knowing what class of property and what return on investment you're going to make when you do that.
Wow, wow, wow. Now, I've been speaking with Akintoye Akiyosi. Tonight has been awesome. For those who are just joining us, we've been looking at the topic leadership and real estate. Uh, this is the 35th edition of Leadership Talk with Adegoke. You can listen to the podcast on Apple and Spotify, and also on our YouTube channel, Leadership with Adegoke Omotola. We've been looking at the topic leadership and real estate. I just have two more questions before we call it a day. Now, Toye, I just want you to speak to three things that the average person can do. It's just a recap. The average listener on this platform that probably has a portfolio already of real estate or doesn't have a portfolio of real estate. Just pick three things that you can share with us, even in closing.
Three things which I can share with you. Number one, have a positive mindset.
Okay.
Never take no for an answer. It can be done.
Okay.
Have a positive mindset. Number two, do your research properly. do your research, do your homework properly, count the costs. When you're buying property, it's not just about the property, it's about the costs of maintenance of that property. It's about the fees that you're going to pay. It's about the agents that you're going to pay. It's about solicitors' fees. It's about the return on the investment. It's about the taxes. What's the council tax band in that area? So those are some of the things that you look at. Now, in terms of the third and final point, is that you must be ready to invest in legacy. When I mean
Wow.
legacy, you never do things on an average level. I hate the word average.
Wow.
You don't take no for an answer. You must be the
Wow.
best in whatever you are doing. You must
Wow.
get the best value when you're investing in real estate. You must have the best rent when you are investing, and that means, for example, even if you've bought a property, you've done it up, you need to check the quality and the caliber of the tenants that you are getting in there. Wherever you are, what work do they do? How
Wow.
much income do they have? What securities do they have? Are you going to get them to bring somebody who is going to guarantee the rents that they are paying? You know, there are different strategies and it's a different ball game. We can talk for hours
Wow.
about
Wow.
it, but you need to do your homework
Wow.
and you need to be articulate and when you're doing this.
Amazing. Toye, you have added so much value tonight. Like I said, for those that want to read Toye, you can just send us a direct message on the Facebook platform and we'll connect you to Toye. It's been amazing tonight. For those of you that have been with us from the beginning, I want you to share, like, and share this page because so many people are, living in ignorance. Toye has talked about legacy. He's talked about positioning your funds. He's talked about retirement. He's talked about inheritance. He's talked about income stream, passive income. He's talked about that real estate outperforms other assets, and he's talking about the fact that we're in a time when the interest rates have gone down. There's no better time to invest in real estate than now. Finally, Toye, who are your mentors? Because you are sharing powerfully nuggets. Because I know that something must have cost you, to get to this position. You didn't get here by accident. Share with us who are
Well, I
your
mean, I have, like I told you, I have about a few mentors. One of my mentors has been Mr. Adegbemile, Fox and Company. He was very instrumental in planting the seeds that you see today in
yeah
me. I have been blessed to work under the tutelage of Pastor Adeboye,
yeah
the tenacity for hard work, entrepreneurial spirit, and living a life which is exemplary comes from him. And also, I like Matthew Ashimolowo, his mixed
yeah yeah
faith with investment opportunities and the ability to mentor people. And I think it's about giving back and creating value so that when we leave this earth for generations, that legacy will stand. When you look
wow
at companies like Ford, they had 100-year business plan,
100 years.
year business plan. So it's what we should be doing now is what is meant to outlive not just this generation but generations to come. On that note, I'll close. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. Please say thank you in the chat box to Toye. Toye has shared so much, added so much tonight. We just want to salute you, your expertise and your humility. You're doing this for free. We just want to trust that God will reward you richly. For all our listeners all over the world and those that are going to be watching the replay, it's been Leadership Talk with Adegoke. This is the 35th session. People are watching from the US, from Nigeria, from Colombia, Australia, So we just want to say that this is all we can do, even at a time like this, to empower people to, change the narrative that, it's not about being, stuck, but there are things that you can actually do to unlock even at a time like this. So until this time next week, thank you for joining us on Leadership Talk with Adegoke. It's been a privilege. Please listen also to our podcast on Apple and Spotify on Leadership Talk with Adegoke. You get a lot of value. Thank you once again and stay blessed. Have a good evening. Thank you, Toye, for coming. God
Thank you,
bless
sir.
you. Thank you.